Morning.
Hello.
Welcome to the Right Now Show, streaming live on YouTube and here at Tsunami Books in Eugene, Oregon.
Are you using your posh English?
I'm using my posh English accent now because we were just talking about that before the show started. This is episode 5, and we're your hosts.
Valerie Isan.
Joanna Bartlett.
Julie Dawn.
Thanks for joining us today.
You gotta stop that.
I will keep this up for as long as I am able, which won't last very long. Today is May 28th, 2018, and today we are talking about, what are we talking about, Valerie?
Author mindset, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, all those niggling demons that plague us as writers.
But first, let us check in about our week.
What if somebody's watching this for the first time and thinks that's the way you talk?
Then you have to do
That's
it every
fine.
time.
What is our question for today?
Oh, no, we're
No, we're
checking
checking in
in.
about
Oh,
our
we're
week
checking
first.
in. Oh,
It's a holiday technically, right? So
it is.
we can.
Well, last
Right.
week I learned about GDPR.
Oh my gosh.
Talking about my European Union roots, and realized I should probably actually pay attention to that, which I did, and painstakingly went through my mailing lists to find out if I had anybody in the European Union, and I don't think I do. But you can sign up now if you're in the EU, because my lists are all nice and compliant. I also wrote about depth journaling, did some blog posts about that, and worked on getting my books into the bookstore at Lilydale Assembly in New York, which is a great big spiritualist community. So
Cool.
I'm going to get my books sold there this summer because season's
Yay.
starting soon.
Congratulations. That's
I guess
exciting.
we have to get our BAMs out.
Oh, bam. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to last week, which seems to be my MO. I've switched. I didn't get any of my PowerPoint stuff done, but I have been working on my first 15 pages of the memoir, so I can send it to that instructor.
Cool.
So I've been editing and revising and tweaking the first 15 pages of my book for many days this week. I also had some paid clients, editing clients I was working on, and we're not doing next week.
No, not yet. What
That
did
was-
you do this last week?
I also did a lot of yard work.
I did some yard work as well, which is very satisfying. And that's like writer mulling time. It's creative time, so you get to think
That's true.
during that time.
That's true.
So I got some writing time set aside. I did everything I had to do. I was like, I'm just gonna go in and work on this for an hour, just an hour. And I click on Scrivener, which my documents in, and it doesn't open. And I'm like, it's like you need to update. So I'm like, okay, I just hit the button, update, right? No.
No.
It's like this list of, like, you have to uninstall it, and then you have to search for this file and delete it. And I'm like, all I want to do is write for an hour.
That's all you had time for.
So then I was like, what else can I work on? Because I want to write. So I had my 70,000 project sitting there, and it's saved in Word. And I was like, no. I was like, I'll do Scrivener again, and then I'll try it, because you have the option to try, and I'll figure out how to do that later. And I was like getting in there, and I was editing a sentence, and I was like, let me save first, because if I do all this work for an hour and then I can't save. And so I hit save, and it crashed. And I was like, oh, thank God, and then I started working on that other project, and I've been working on that for like 3 days, getting like 1,000 words in a day.
Nice.
So I'm like, well, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with this. And I emailed Scrivener, and I was like, how do you fix this? Because then I went, and it wanted $25 if you hadn't bought it within the last year. And I was like,
Oh, for Scrivener 3, upgrading to Scrivener 3?
I just bought this 2 years ago, and I had to learn the system, so
Scrivener 3 is really cool, though. I like it.
it's different.
There's some new fun tricks.
Yay! Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't learned all the other fun tricks. I
You
haven't
have to
learned
watch all their YouTube videos now.
the old fun tricks yet.
Mm.
So, all right. Well, good for you for persevering
And I signed up
through
for
obstacles.
2 Comic-Cons. I don't know what I'm doing. So
You can
TikTok.
do it.
You're talking at Comic Cons?
No, I'm selling at Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you find that to be a useful way to spend your time? And I mean, is it
Oh yes, for
you,
me.
you sell books at those
Mhm.
places? Okay.
There's
I just don't
couple
sell books
different
at tables.
authors that do, and you have to learn how to sell yourself.
Ooh.
Yes.
I just sit there and knit.
My
Yeah, that's me.
first
I
And
bring my
wait for
knitting.
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hi.
well, at least we'll get some good knitting done.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I stand up the entire time and I ask people if they want a bookmark because the guy next to me at my very first Comic Con sold like fairy art and stuff that he got on fabric.
Uh-huh.
And he would hand out like free tattoos or something
Mm-hmm.
with his website on it. And he was doing really well. I was like, I have all these bookmarks in front of me sitting on the table.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm going to stand up and do it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. But I did.
Yeah, you have to engage people.
Yeah, and by like my third Comic-Con, I had said it so much that the small press guy next to me, he had buttons to give out because those apparently are really, really good.
Buttons are
On,
cool too.
yeah, apparently. And he hands him a button and he's like, "Would you like a bookmark?" And I was like, "I totally got you, yes!" And he's like, "You did." So they're fun,
Well, that's good.
but
Yeah, I haven't enjoyed the events I've done so far, or found them worth the time or the entrance.
yeah, there have been
Fees.
many events like that. I did the Northwest Book Festival in Portland, and somehow I didn't get on the mailing list right before the event, and I forgot you had to bring your tent and your table.
Oh,
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell books out of my suitcase on the ground. And I did. I did.
Wow.
standing.
It was, so it's always an experience.
The
Yeah.
most lucrative book festival I've done was getting an editing gig from the table mate next to me.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm.
That's it. Like I think I've sold maybe 3 books total on
Yeah.
on things like that.
I've
Yeah.
sold books. It doesn't seem, I don't know, worthwhile in terms of the
The energy
investment
and
of my
effort.
time
Yeah.
and
It's-
just sitting there all day, not being with my family.
Mm.
I don't like being in those places with lots of people to begin with. It's too many
It's an
people
energy
around me.
suck.
It's
You
an
get done
energy
and you're
suck,
like,
and
Bed.
so I don't know. It probably is worth it, and I just need to get over myself. But we should move on to our
Yeah.
question of the week,
Hmm.
which maybe next week we'll ask our own question of what book fairs make sense. But our question of the week this week is, what tools do you use in your writing life? So I think we all use Scrivener, at least to
Yes.
some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not much longer.
Oh, give Scrivener 3 a try.
I use Scrivener badly.
But I gotta pay for it. And like that's
It's only $25.
Yeah,
But
but
you
it's-
already paid for it. I mean, so like
yeah, you already paid for
But
it.
I mean, but you paid more for it than the upgrade. So I mean, that's what you got to do.
yeah. Yeah.
So a Scrivener is $45, but you can often find coupons. In fact, if you are ever doing NaNoWriMo,
Yeah.
They always have a 50% off. I
If
think
you
coupon.
finish or if you
No, just
participate.
if you participate.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever finished successfully. So
So yeah, Scrivener is definitely a tool I use. In terms of like to back up with the healthy writing topic that we did, I use a yoga ball at my desk. So that's what I sit on now. I think that's a good tool because it keeps me moving a little bit and
That's a good
engages your
idea.
core, and you can, stretch on it when you're waiting in between inspirational moments. I'm trying to think of what other tools that I use. In terms of writing, Scrivener is definitely it. In terms of publishing, I use a lot of tools.
Yeah.
BookFunnel is amazing. So definitely do BookFunnel. That is a way to deliver your digital products to your readers without having to deal with the customer service yourself. They have a really great customer service.
BookFunnel does it for you, so you don't have
BookFunnel.
to explain. Okay, so if you want to put this book on your Kindle, this is how you do it. Or
Or I've got a Nook that was first generation. How
And
do
you
I
go,
sideload and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I don't want to deal with that.
yeah,
Um,
I need to sign up for a BookFunnel
I really
account.
like
I haven't yet, but I also haven't kind of needed to. I suppose I've had things set up in other ways in terms of like files on my website, or just emailing them to people for reviews and that kind of thing.
You also need to have a mailing list
Yeah.
server somehow, whatever. I don't know what to call those.
A mailing list service, a newsletter
Service,
service.
something like that. Yeah. So
That's
ConvertKit,
GDPR
MailChimp.
compliant.
Yeah. Which it all will be now.
Yeah.
What do you use?
So I use MailChimp for my newsletter just because it meets my needs for the size of list and what I'm doing with it, which is, not a ton. I keep it pretty simple. I do use Scrivener. I use Word a lot, actually, to write in, which I know it sounds terrible, but I got used to it, and you can actually do a surprising amount with Word, even though it seems wrong. In terms of
Their table of contents.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Which jumps down to the scene, because that's one thing I love about Scrivener, is that when you close out of your document, it will save it if you forget to. And it also comes back where you stopped.
Yeah.
And Word doesn't do that.
So you have to like
you can. It will say it'll say continue where you left off.
Oh, where is that?
Oh no, it's something that pops up.
I also use Vellum.
Yeah, I don't have a Mac, so no Vellum
bummer.
for me.
So if you don't have a Mac, then you can use draft2digital.com's free book editor, which is actually quite awesome and has pretty much all of the same usability as Vellum, but I think the templates are different.
Yeah, and it's a specific, it's a limited set of templates. So if you are very picky, like I am apparently, and have formatted some of your books in Word to be a certain way with certain headings and subheadings and subheadings, then it's hard to switch over.
But if you are not quite a DIY,
yeah,
I'm not that level of DIY. I don't understand that techie stuff, so that's why I prefer using templates.
Pressbooks actually is another good one. You have to pay for it, but they offer quite a lot of different formats in terms of then creating a print book and an ebook.
I just use CreateSpace's template. You put in the word, the amount of pages, and just go from there.
Oh, for covers and things, you mean? Or
An interior.
For the print, we're also talking about Mobi and EPUB files too. If you're formatting digitally,
I use Calibre for that.
Yes, is that the one with the bookshelf? When it
Probably.
starts?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what I use.
is better.
Only if you have a Mac. If you don't, Calibre is actually pretty good. It's not bad. I've actually figured it, especially like a lot of these programs like Scrivener and Calibre. I found if you actually learn how to use them properly, as opposed to just mashing buttons until you get frustrated with just my approach, that they're actually really good and useful. Like Calibre, one of my beefs with it was that it would produce EPUB files that would get rejected because there was a space in the font names. But it turns out that Calibre will do an auto fix for you if you know which button to press. That you don't actually have to go in and manually fix them yourself, which is what I was doing. I was going, oh, this is annoying. And then I realized that it would do it for me if I ran some like auto check thingy. It wasn't very hard.
I just remembered a new tool that I use.
What's that?
Drag and dictate. Have you guys tried that yet?
It hasn't yet worked for my writing.
British accent.
Well, yeah, nothing understands me. and then I just end up yelling curse words at it. I do that like
Dragon! Ah!
No, with the phone, right? If I'm trying to like, I'm
Siri?
like, yeah, or whatever Google's assistant is, navigate to Tsunami Books. No, Tsunami, you whatever. And yeah, that doesn't work for me. No, I don't write speaking. I have a shirt that says I write better than I speak because I process words differently if I'm writing them than if I'm talking them.
You can get really high word counts if you dictate, though.
I've heard that.
And you can also, it's also insurance against if you get hurt or, if you're dealing with wrist issues and you can't do the typing, or if your back if you have enough back pain that you can't sit down anymore or whatever, it's good to have that reassurance that you can always fall back on dictation if you need it. And the speed I'm really interested in, being able to write faster. And the cool thing about online courses is you can, okay, here's a tip and a half.
Okay.
Are we done with our time though? Should we move on?
No, you can just quickly
Quickly
quick
tip and a half. Okay, so I had a class that I was teaching, and I was practicing it in my office all by myself, just talking like I was talking to a room full of people. But I also had the dictation on.
Oh, yeah.
So I was writing a book at the same time as me practicing this class. So out of this class, I have a class and I have a book now, a nonfiction book on, it was on goal setting and strategic planning for writers.
Oh, cool. Well, that's actually a good idea.
Bam!
Bam. Hold on, right way up. Bam. That is a good idea. I like that idea. Well, because even for like some of the videos that I do that I then turn into blog posts to just kind of have the auto transcript
Yeah.
of it could be kind of interesting and useful. All right.
Okay.
So if you have a question for us, please leave it in the comment section below. Do we know our email addresses yet, Julie? Okay, one day we'll know. Leave it in the comments below and we'll actually see it that way. So now we are going to move on to our main topic, which is mindset, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and turning pro.
Okay.
Self-doubt. So
yeah.
yes, we all have that, I think. I don't know. Maybe only I have that. Only I have self-doubt.
Everyone has self-doubt.
That either I'm writing and you know, you have those moments when you're writing and you're going, oh my God, this is amazing. This is going to be a bestseller.
And
This is everything.
right in your thought.
And
Right in your thought.
but then like some other time you're like, oh God, this is such crap. I don't know what I'm doing. Which I find like you're talking about doing, you know, your first 15 pages. When I try to go revisit that kind of thing, you know, to make it perfect, that's when really kicks in for me, because I start going, I don't know what it is. I feel at some point like I've massaged this so much it's become mush instead of like polishing it. I think I'm ruining it.
Yeah.
Is that first draft, second draft, certain draft phase?
At some point in the editing, I start going, I don't know what I'm doing. What makes me think I have the skill to actually edit this and know if it's any good or not, or what should stay and what should go?
That is a sign that you're a writer. That is definitely, if you don't have that happening, you might not be a writer.
Yeah.
Or a good one.
Yeah, or a good one.
Oh, like, so if I think I'm brilliant the whole time,
it's
then
horrible.
probably
Isn't
not
that what
good.
they say? That it's just horrible if you write.
I'm so brilliant. Everything I say is gold. Whatever. So imposter syndrome. I think for me,
we should talk about what to do about the self-doubt.
Oh, I don't know.
I have self-doubt, don't you?
I have no idea.
No.
I mean,
What do you do when you get to that place?
Take a break.
Take a break. I've been listening to a bunch of audiobooks lately that are. It's been kind of interesting because I let whatever kind of literature wants to come into my life, I let it into my life because I figure it's what I need at that time.
Oh, that's cool.
So right now I'm listening to the audiobook Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's more about marketing and forming a business and self-publishing. There comes a point where if you want to be successful at it, you have to start thinking of it as a business.
Wait, Rich Dad Poor Dad is about self-publishing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's about building a business.
Okay.
And how there's employees. There's 4 different types of people. There's employees. There's self-employed, which writers can fall under mostly. And then there's business, and then there's investors. But so I'm listening to him today, and he says, don't be afraid of failure because that's where you learn, and that's where you grow. And just finding like different quotes when I'm stuck or I have self-doubt helps me so much because everyone goes through it. You know, everyone has that monkey mind in their brain all the time. And
yeah, I suppose for me what I do about it is talk to other people, find out about other experiences, and so then, you know, other writers go, oh yeah, that's what happens to me all the time. And I go, oh, okay, I'm normal. This is part of the process.
Yes.
And then that allows me to kind of go, it gives me a little bit of separation.
The A part of BAM is the awareness.
Yeah.
So I think that's really key for me.
To have that awareness that it's normal.
Yes. Because then that just, normalizes it.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about it so much. Knowing that, And then you can also find patterns in your own writing process too.
where you
So
expect,
sometimes I'll
where
be
you're-
like with the memoir, I'll get to the point where, or actually it's not even the memoir, it's any big project where I'm writing and writing and writing. And I think this sucks. Nobody is going to want to read this. Why am I even bothering? But that passes.
So many hours.
I know, and I just plug through it, and I hear it, and I'm feeling it, and I'm like sick to my stomach sometimes. Like, this is just crap. But I just think, okay, it's just crap. I'm gonna keep writing anyway. And then after it's all done, and you
Yeah.
rewrite it, then you realize, oh, it's not as crappy as I thought it was.
Yeah. And also I find that awareness of, like you said, with patterns. When you find yourself kind of back in that pattern or those thought patterns or feelings, and you go, oh, yes, I felt this way before.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what's happening. So it's not me, it's not the writing, it's just this is a normal part of the
This
process.
just happens. It's part of the checklist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's happening right on cue. I'm at the 75% point. I want to die now. Yeah, that's about right.
Mine's been interrupting my flow. So I'll be like just putting out words and then right mid-sentence, bam. It's like a knock on the door and it's like, what are you doing? You are wasting your time. And I'm like, dude, shut up, I'm writing here.
Or you can say thank you. I appreciate your input. Now go away.
Yeah, I've been trying to be a lot nicer to that voice because
Do you know, I heard
it
this.
needs it.
I heard this really great tip. So one of the very prolific authors that I know would get up when be at the desk writing and hear the voices, and they would stand up and they would walk to the door of their office and open it up and let it go out the door and close it and then come back.
Huh, that's a good,
Just as
Like,
a
concrete visualization
ritual,
or ritual
yeah,
or something.
to like send that away
And it worked.
while you're writing. I mean, that's what they
Probably,
do. I don't know. I
probably.
just thought it was a cool idea. I'm
They
gonna try
open
it.
the door
Rolling
and
down.
then shush the dogs. No, shush. You don't understand what I'm doing here.
Yeah. So imposter syndrome and like not feeling real. The thing that's hardest for me with that, and it might be similar for you guys, is this. So I'm not a traditionally published author. I'm an indie author, which means I've been my
We get a
own
BAM for that.
my
I mean, we
own
really do.
gatekeeper, or lack thereof, and so there's still that, which I suppose if I was selling, millions of books or thousands of books a week, month, whatever, I would go. Your self-publishing formula mug, very nice. I see that.
That's not intentional. Sorry.
It appeared to be like this very, it's like subtle, but yet not so subtle point. Valerie's drinking out of a Mark Dawson self-publishing formula mug as she looked at me there, and as I was saying that, and so I feel that, and you hear people, and in writers groups online or at conferences and things like that, there's still this divide between like, oh, I'm a real, I can say I'm an author because I have an agent or I have a traditional publishing contract, that kind of thing, as opposed to these self-published authors who just can put anything out there on Amazon. And there's still a bit of that, and so that to me sometimes doesn't quite feel as real. And yet I started my career as a journalist. Again, I don't have a journalism degree, so I was like an imposter journalist who just started working for a newspaper, and I won an award, and I'm an award-winning writer. And yeah, so I've always kind of dealt with that. Actually, all of my writing career is never quite feeling real.
See, I'm on like the cusp of, to be honest, not knowing if I want to go traditional now at this point.
You've already
Like-
done a couple of self-publishing
Yeah,
projects.
yeah,
and
which
now
has
you
been extremely growing for me. I've grown so much doing things that if I had originally got, or I should say went through, because I did have a small press that wanted it. If I had done that route, I wouldn't have learned all the things that I've learned. I wouldn't have, there's this huge respect that I have for anybody who does interior book design, who does book covers, who does anything with it, just converting it to the damn ebook, I'm so grateful that it makes me realize that by seeing people who are traditionally published and not doing so well, and not doing the promotion that I felt that I've had to do, I think I've grown so much that I'm finally like grateful, and I've started telling people when they say, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I write," and they don't. Some of them ask, "Oh, who published you?" Blah 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 blah, and it's finally like, what?
But see, no readers actually ask that. That's
It's
what
only
I've
other
learned.
authors.
It's only other
Yeah.
authors.
Yeah.
Readers don't care who publishes your books. They're
They
not
just want
gonna.
a good story, or
Right. Yeah.
They want something of value that works, that's useful to them in their lives.
So when I actually don't really worry about the real publishing, because I really publish.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
I don't have that challenge, but when it did come up at the very beginning, that was what I would remember. Well, readers don't care who publishes your books, as long as it's a quality product, and it's the best professional product that you can put out, then I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Okay. What about imposter syndrome?
That's what we were just talking about, wasn't it?
Well, okay, yeah, in that area, yes. I guess there's so many places that we can go with the imposter syndrome.
So many ways we can feel bad about ourselves as writers and authors.
I think one of my issues was, okay, so when I went to
wrap up very shortly.
Okay, when I went to that master business class, it was very I always mess up this word. Is it exclusive? Yeah, I think so. You had to be invited to attend. And so I got on the roster. I got to go, and I was super excited. And then like the week leading up to it, I was like, how did I get picked to go here? This is just crazy. Everyone else has got more books out than I do, and I don't even know what I don't even really know what genre. Blah 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 blah. I had all this self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and how did I get picked to come here? But I think just remembering that all of the things I do every day, all of the steps that I take in my author business are the same ones that anyone else does
or should be doing. I don't sell that many, so I'm actually doing pretty well on my own. And yeah, it doesn't in so many ways it really doesn't matter. Plus I kind of like being in control.
I like that part.
We froze. What happened?
We froze. Oh no.
Do you think we're still recording?
I don't know.
It shows that we're still live. The live thingy's still going. Well, maybe our voices are coming. That's a lovely expression I have as well. Let's hope that stays up for another 5 minutes.
Okay, well, let's just quickly wrap up then and hope that this actually works. I just wanted to mention some resources. The Successful Author Mindset book by Joanna Penn is excellent. I read it twice. And Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield is also amazing. And those help with balance, mindset, awareness, all of those things. So I would definitely recommend those books.
So this next week, I won't be here actually for our next Right Now episode. We will be having author Anthony St. Clair filling in for me. I've requested that he speak in a British accent the whole time. He doesn't know this yet. I'm kidding. Because I'll be at a grief recovery training, learning to becoming a certified grief recovery specialist to help people move through grief and loss successfully and get out on the other side. And then my books, even though I won't be there, my books will be at the Joyful Heart Psychic Fair next Sunday, June 3rd at the Fairgrounds Auditorium building. One of my students has actually given me
Eugene.
In Eugene, Oregon. Yeah, in Lane County. Is it Lane County Fairgrounds? Okay.
Yep. Next to the skating rink, ice skating rink.
And I also need to sign up for the Willamette Writers Conference in August. And if you should too, you should go. It's a good time.
Good times. I'm going to be continuing to work on my first 15 pages to send to that instructor and work on my PowerPoint for the How to Write a Novel class that's happening in 2 weeks. And I'm also going to be doing a reading at the Willamette Writers Author Gala on June 7th.
Right here at Tsunami Books.
Yep.
What are you doing, Julie? You're yelling at Scrivener.
I'm not even dealing with Scrivener at this point. So I'm gonna work on the one I can work on, and maybe see if I can at least use the trial and save it in Word document so that I can at least deal with that later.
Okay,
However,
That makes sense.
But yeah, I'm gonna finish the book this week.
Sweet.
Ooh, nice.
No.
Oh.
We'll find out next week how that went.
All right. So
That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Please join us next week on Monday, June 4th, either live on YouTube right here or in our studio audience at Tsunami Books. We'll get you a cup of tea, which is, free for everybody, but we'll pretend you're special and get you a cup of tea.
And Anthony will be here, and we'll be talking about where do book ideas come from.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our channel. We are
Valerie Isan,
Joanna Bartlett,
Julie Dawn,
and we will see you next Monday at 11:11. So go
right now.